Yes, salutations, everyone. This is Faith is the Substance. I'm coming at you live, my first live stream. So, hopefully we'll get an audience with a few people, but if not, that's okay too. You can catch the replay. Y'all can pun the replay. So that's fine too. And so I'm really privileged to have our first guest coming into the building. I told you before, he's one of my favorite cousins, mentor. Hopefully, he'll be a certified life coach real soon in his lifetime because I told him he should do that. So he's my cousin, Gresten Weeks. Hails from the Bronx, New York, and I know he has a lot of stories to tell. He's a whole vibe. His energy is authentic, so I think you will like that. I was hoping that my mom would be the first person I'll go live with, but again, that's going to come. So I had to, I had to move on with my content, but I just hope she don't kick me in the back of the head when she see me. Like, but anyway, I'm not gonna hold you too long, so I'm gonna bring on my guest. His name is Gresten Weeks. So welcome him to the building, y'all. Hey, Gress.
Hey, what's going on, cuz? How you doing?
Thank you so much for doing this, taking the time. I know that your schedule is hectic, but I appreciate you taking the time to do this. It means a lot. It really does.
Not a problem.
All right, so I'm going to start with you. I want to just kind of get your, just start with from the beginning, where you were born, your upbringing, and just start there.
Well, I'm born in Bronx, New York, as you know, and started out in the 70s, 1970 to be exact. Bronx,
1970.
New York. Born in the old Harlem Hospital down on Brooklyn Boulevard. Not the new hospital, the old hospital. Many people don't know of.
Yeah, because I was at Brooklyn Boulevard.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Lincoln Hospital used to be on Brooklyn Boulevard before they moved to 149th Street.
Okay, see, I didn't know that. I'm born and raised in the Bronx. I didn't know that. But, okay. Well, thank you for enlightening me. So now, what was your upbringing like? Was you raised in a two-parent household, one-parent household, siblings? How was that?
Well, for a while there was a two-parent household, but things happen. Siblings, there was just me and my brother Aaron, my big brother Aaron. I'm the youngest.
Shout out to Aaron.
I do have an older sister from my father.
Mm.
Sophie didn't live with us, but she's here. She's around all the time.
Oh, she is. So you have a relationship with her? A close relationship with her?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. And where's she from? Like, where is she now?
She's from the Bronx. She still lives in the Bronx. Recently she just acquired a house down in North Carolina. Through her retirement.
Okay.
About 25 years for Sing Sing prison.
Wow. Sing Sing?
Correction officer.
Oh, she survived that. Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, she really did.
Yeah. So, what was your upbringing like your childhood? Because I know you seem like you always been a popular kid in all levels of education. So, I just want you to just kind of take me to that place of your upbringing, home life, school life, because you seem like you was always a popular one.
Well, yeah, I've always been a friendly guy, not a follower, more of a leader,
Right.
I set the tone in my life of how I want my life to go and the things that I want to do in life, if we all had the same criteria, we let each other. I really didn't know a bunch of followers. I know a bunch of leaders, we all led at some point in time in our lives, which everybody does. I would hope that everybody leads at some time in their life. Nobody should be a follower.
Yeah, so so you talk about leadership. Did you have any leadership roles in school? Any type of like school president, any organizations that you was a part of?
Well, I was part of a glee club. We used to sing, do things of that nature, play basketball on the basketball team. My brother was really a big role model for me, Aaron. He's a big role model for me. He was like a big brother, dad type of guy.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you. So you say Glee Club? That's you sang in the Glee Club? What you say? Tenor? What you saying? What you
I
saying?
sang.
You sang? Oh because I want to hear you sing. What songs you sang? What did you sing?
Uh, the national anthem, the schools, what do you call it? The school anthem, the national anthem, whatever they did.
What was the school anthem?
We sung for all the
Now,
stuff.
I know what an anthem is, but I want you to sing it. What's the school anthem? Sing the school anthem.
Oh, that's a long time ago. I don't even remember that. I'm in my 50s now. We talking about back in the 70s. You talking about early 75, 76, 77.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to put you on the spot. So let me ask you this, because I know you mentioned leadership, but it had to have been someone other than your brother, someone, other people in your life in school that kind of geared you toward that. Like, who did you look up to? Who was any other influences you had?
Well, we grew up at the Whole Avenue Boys Club. Me and Aaron, we went there every day after school when we came a certain age, and the leadership was there. We had guys that was just right in front of us. Teenagers, early adults. They would teach us stuff. They played. They was coaches. They taught us gymnastics, taught us how to play tennis. The Whole Avenue Boys Club was a great role model for us in entirety. They had everything there for us. Whatever you wanted to be involved in, they had.
And so, and you said you said the Glee Club, you said basketball, and what else you said? I'm sorry, what else did you say?
Gymnastics. I was a part of the gymnastics. I was part of the Big Apple Circus.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'm learning more. See, I'm learning more new stuff about you here. Okay, thank you for this. Okay, this is good. The Big Apple Circus. What did you do?
Do gymnastics.
I mean, well,
Flipping, doing shows, doing flips and stuff, back flips, front flips.
yeah, that's like what moves were you like what that you gravitated towards? What particular type of moves you gravitated towards? That's what I meant actually.
I'm doing back flips, double back flips, Arabians. It's the gymnastic world. You have to be a part of the gymnastic world to understand what I'm talking about. But it was great for me at that time because I really excelled in gymnastics.
You did.
Mm-hmm.
And how far did you go with that? You say you excelled.
To about high school, and then I moved on to basketball. I guess late junior high school. I moved over into the basketball field, and I left gymnastics alone.
Wow, that's amazing, Gresten. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, going into high school, because high school that's a pivotal time for a lot of us, right? So what was it like? What were you a part of? Like, what was that like for you, high school? What, in a nutshell, or just give like an overview of like what high school was like for you.
Well, high school was great for me. I went to DeWitt Clinton in 1984.
Shout out to Clinton.
Yeah, Clinton was a great school, but prior to going to Clinton, I had took the test to go to the Bronx High School of Science.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't see it as a fit for me. But I think maybe I should have went to Bronx Science instead of going to DeWitt Clinton. But I chose DeWitt Clinton.
Why?
Because it was more academic. It was more of one of those things that I wanted to do. And I think
like, oh, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off because you don't seem like. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you were dumb. I wouldn't, that's far from my mind. But you seem like the type that would probably play hooky and just be one of those guys. I would never see you as so academic driven. You would be more like, kind of, crossing, cutting corners. Like, you seem like the type that would be like, in that lane.
Well, in the beginning, like I said, if I would have went to Bronx Science, I think I would have had a better outcome on life. Bronx High School of Science was more of there was a lot of smart kids. You had to take a test to be in there. You had to, you couldn't just go to the school. You had to be one of those elite people in school, which I was.
Right.
But at the time, I didn't want to show how smart I was. I didn't want people to feel dumb around me.
Ah, okay. So it's what they call it, survivor's remorse, something like that.
Not survivor's remorse for me. I would just say, I
Like,
dumb myself down to be with my
but
friends.
why,
And
why did you feel the need to do that though? Like, I mean, because as I feel like, because William, my son, he would kind of be the person that would do something like that. Like just what you said, just how you just described. So I'm wondering, from your aspect, why did you feel the need to do that? And I understand your reasoning, but why would you feel like your friends at that time wouldn't even support your endeavors or support your empower you more? Other than you having to limit yourself. Why did you feel the need to do that?
at the time, in my upbringing, it's all about fellowship. We had friends and people we wanted to be around. We grew up together. We all went to the same schools, and you wanted the camaraderie other than being the obsolete. You wanted to be
Right.
in the crowd instead of being above the crowd. And at the time,
Mm.
in those years, some of us didn't know how to accept being elite.
Wow. Was it like for you personally? Was it a level of intimidation? Did you feel intimidated in that aspect, and then you didn't want to intimidate others as well because you mentioned about limiting yourself?
Yeah, well, I don't think it was intimidation. It's just that, we all want to be accepted in the crowd. At that time growing up,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't know how to be an individual
Mm-hmm.
outside of where you came from in your neighborhood and your friends. You always wanted to be that friend until you understood what growing up was really about.
Okay, and I get that. I get that. But let me ask you this hypothetically. Say, just hypothetically, if you did take that opportunity to excel, or did you take the opportunity to attend broad science, or, what if you did not dumb yourself down? Would you think what happened? Do you think you would lose those friendships? What would you think would happen?
I don't think I would have lost the friendships, but I didn't think that far into it because I
Okay.
wanted to be among my
Your peers.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's something. Okay. So that's something that you decided on your own, that you wanted to be among your peers. So you didn't feel resentful at all.
No,
After that.
no. It's a decision that I made.
Right. That's a choice that you made at that time. Yes, I understand. Like I said, I understand your motive behind it, but um, I'm talking about like maybe years later afterwards. Did you feel any resentment at all? For doing that, or do you feel any regret?
Not at all, because I believe in life. The way that life works for me is that where you're supposed to be, you will be at that point in that lifetime where you're supposed to be. Um, Simple example. You could want this and want that, but if it's not your time to have, it
Mm-hmm.
won't come until it's that time for you to have,
All right.
or being manifested in your life. Once you manifest something and you learn about yourself and you learn about life, whatever you manifest will be for you. What's for you will be for you.
So that's right, ladies and gentlemen. What he's saying is what God has for you is for you, right?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. So let me circle back real quick. Um, are you still friends with these people now, or after
Yes.
you are?
Every day, every day.
Really?
Yes, and everybody has great lives. Everybody's doing good. Some of us took us time to get to where we're supposed to be.
Right.
We circle back around and come around. But in this lifetime, I believe that you have two paths that you could choose.
Mm-hmm. And
You have
that.
the straight and narrow path, and then you have the adventurous path.
Mm-hmm.
The, the adventurous path is going to take you around a couple of corners. The straight path is going to take you right to where you need to be. So, in a way, I say straight path, you're going to live your life. Adventurous path, you're already living your life and you're learning, you're growing,
Oh,
and you're understanding things in a different way, but you're still living your life.
okay. Got
Your
you.
life, not the way life is intended, or people intend the life to be for you.
So let me ask you this. At some point, when you talk about the straight path and you just described the adventurous path, where do you think those paths merge?
Um, for me, I would say they merged. For me, I'm gonna say in my late 20s,
Late 20s. That's not bad.
and I think mine merged because when I started having children, I only have two, but when I started having children, it made me an adult. I can't be adventurous no more.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be a
Straight.
law citizen. I had to be a father. I had to be somebody that somebody looks up to. I
Okay.
have to have a message. I have to have a meaning for living.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, we'll get to your family life in a moment, but I just kind of want to delve into more, about the transitional process starting from the beginning. So I want to kind of, kind of want you. Well, actually, I want you to take me to those stepping stones. All right. So now we go from high school. From high school graduation, where did you go? Where were you?
I was working, I was doing other things, things
Yeah.
I'm not proud of, but I was doing other things. I was still living life. I was having fun, still trying to learn myself and find out who I was and who I wanted to be.
Okay. So when you say job, what type of jobs did you have?
I worked in the stock market.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I was
Huh.
um not a certified trader, but I was on my way to being a certified trader.
Really?
And yeah, and things took a left and they took a different turn. I fell out of that. I was in the insurance business. I did insurance. Um there's so many avenues I could tell you about it. There's so many things I did in that time period while I'm still growing as a human being and learning who I am.
Yeah. So we say so. You that good with numbers, Kristen?
Hmm?
You that good with numbers?
I can't, I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
That's are you that good with numbers? I didn't know. You that good with numbers? And
Yeah, I'm good with numbers. I'm good at anything. Anything you set your mind forward to,
I see.
I always wanted to be the best at what I did
Yeah.
or what I've done.
So when you was going through those to those changes, because we have a lot of job changes and switches. Do you ever did you ever have a goal in mind of what you wanted to do, or any type of career or occupation you wanted to get into?
No, not really. I just wanted to be successful.
Really? So you had no, aspirations of being any particular. No, that's unusual because most people say I want to. Because I always wanted to be a pediatrician in high school.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that's really interesting. You didn't have that in mind.
No, in my mind, I just wanted to be successful. I wanted to have money. I wanted to live comfortably. I never thought of what I wanted to be, and I didn't want to put myself in a box because
Okay,
I could be anything I want to be as long as I put in the work to be that.
right. And so you never have like even okay. So even with the trades you went into, whether it be the stock market or insurance, like did you see those as being careers, or you just what was a job for you? Was it just a job?
It was just a job at the time because I didn't think about mentally a career in life. I just,
You just
wanted to be successful.
yeah, like you said, you want to live comfortably. So
Yeah.
okay, so you mentioned about choice that you make, and I'm not going to press you into disclosing those certain choices, but you said you wasn't proud of those choices that you made. So just kind of I just want you to kind of describe to me those choices. What made you get into the made you make those decisions, and how did you decide? Okay, this is not the lane for me, and what type of cautionary tale would you give her?
Well, some of the choices I made were not great choices. They weren't bad choices, but they would lead you into a place where you didn't want to be. And understanding where you don't want to be is learning that you have to make better decisions.
And what made you do that? Like what was that point? What was that straw that made you decide? Okay, this is This is not the lane for me. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing.
I'm just seeing where our people go, when they make bad decisions. I didn't want to be there. That's not a camp or a fraternity that I want to join.
Right. So I'm sorry. So was there any particular incident like that you dealt with, or you just decided to before it went there? That's when you decided to
No,
detour.
nothing in particular. It's just seeing where we come from, our neighborhoods. The devastation that it causes on our neighborhoods. The man is always not there because of he's in a different situation that he's forced into, that he didn't want to be into, but he's forced into that situation. I didn't want that for me.
So let me ask you, give me some examples of some of those situations, because I understand where you're coming from, but give me some, reasons behind how most people, especially men, would kind of resort to that, whether, because the number one is poverty. I mean, that's obvious.
Mhm.
Give me some more of what it's just based on your experience and other people around you. What are some of the other reasons that people might go that route?
Well, seeing some of the older guys from my neighborhood, they would they already had kids maybe or something. They had to feed their kids, so they did what they had to do. And understanding their life and what they were going through, and then seeing that they're away and not there. You can't provide for somebody when you're away. That's temporary until you're faced with a situation that you have to go away. Now everything you did counter reacts against what you were trying to do.
Right. And what are some of those reactions? I'm saying, no, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're experienced those reactions. I'm just give me some examples of what some of those reactions were.
Going to jail, being killed, things you can't come back from, especially being killed,
Yeah.
trying to
Right.
make a dollar.
So I want you so go from there and just let the audience know, where you could end up. Like just kind of give a cautionary tale of, of what you should do and what not, like what the options, what the resources, some of the other steps you can take, kind of give some time, pour into, that's what I want to say, pour into someone that might be watching, whether live here on a replay, kind of give, you know, some type of encouraging words as far as
The
what they.
most encouraging words I could give you right now is that in the black community, we don't understand what hustle means. Hustle doesn't mean sell drugs.
Right.
Hustle is a
Grind.
mentality of making money, taking care of, your responsibilities, moving your life forward. Hustle is having different avenues of making money, not illegally, legally. And, back in, I want to say the early 60s, they took those hustles away from us when they took out certain programs from high schools and stuff like that. They took that away from us.
Yes.
Um, in this day and life right now, you have a job, it pays your bills and everything, but that's not hustling. That's just working. Hustling is
And it's
you
safe.
know, doing different things to have different avenues of making money. If this fails, some people do rap. Some people just play music. Some people are comedians. There's avenues. You started one avenue and then you open up another avenue. That's something positive. And that's how you can move and be a hustler. Let's understand what hustle means. Hustle
Right.
doesn't mean sell drugs,
And
but
doing the grind, putting in the extra grunt work, grinding, you know,
mhm.
building trades, going to trade schools, learning those skills. Because I remember, I don't know about you, but back in high school, they frowned upon trade schools. They frowned upon that. Like if you wanted to go to a trade school, or even a city college, they frowned upon that. Was that your experience as well?
No, because at my time, trade was really something that died out. They took that away. And the reason why they took it away is because the urban man was successful with a trade. He was his own boss with a trade.
Yeah.
They didn't want you to be your own boss. In this world, the way the world is set up, they want you to be a worker.
Hmm. And they took those factory jobs away.
Hmm.
There was a time, remember, there was a time we used to be able to get a government job right out of high school. But now, those same entry level jobs that you was able to get out of high school, you need a degree for. So it's like it's less attainable now.
Well, not necessarily for a higher end job, but you could work your way up. You could start at the bottom and still work your way up in the government.
But no, but I'm saying, but the criteria has changed drastically. That's what I'm saying. Like
It has. It has. I do agree with you. Yes, it has.
that's the thing. So, but let me ask you because I want to. I mean, I don't want to, spend too much time on politics, but I'm wondering, is that one of the reasons why you're Republican?
Well, I'm Republican because when I went to fill out my voters registration, they always said that we couldn't be Republican. We had to be Democrat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to push the envelope and I just put down Republican.
Oh, so you were just doing that to be rebellious?
Yes, I wanted to do it because they said we couldn't do it.
Oh, okay. So that's how it started. But why did you remain one?
Why would I change it?
But no, I'm curious. Like, I wonder, like, what type of stance, like, what type of principles do you apply to being a Republican? Like, why did you maintain that? That's as far as being Republican.
Because my class has nothing to do with who I am and what I look into. I could be Democrat, I could be Republican, but I don't have to follow either views. I can have my own views and still be who I want to be.
And so, what are your views now? Is with this administration? Like I said, I don't want to delve too much into it, but I just want to get like just a brief overview of your take on, how things are now with this administration.
Well, like you said, we don't want to get too into politics, but in my belief, Democrats are not for us.
Ooh. Because I'm glad someone else feels that way, because I said it for the longest, for the past over 50, 60 years, that's been factual.
It is, because if you look at all the Democratic states, you see all the poverty.
Yes.
So I can be for Democrats and they keep us in poverty.
Yes. Because so that's why I kind of get more into that, because we was mentioning about certain principles when it applies to the choice that you made when you were younger up until now. So that's why I want to get more into that, because having Black Republicans is still frowned upon. So I wanted to stir the pot a little bit. So thank you for indulging me, Gress.
You look at most of the inner cities where we come from, even though we're from the Bronx, we're from New York. You look at the other inner cities all around the world. What are they? Predominantly what?
Black.
And Democratic.
And Hispanic, Democratic. Mm-hmm. Black and brown, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you vote for the people to keep you poor. And you keep you in a bad situation.
Woo! Oh. And why is that? Why do you think that is, Gresten?
Because when something has been ingrained in your head,
oh yes,
from birth, you don't know how to go outside the box.
You go outside the box. No, you don't go against the grain, because if you do, then you become the issue. And that also goes right into the lane of how we treat each other. It's like crabs in a barrel. Yeah. So
you can't be scared to go against the grain. Sometimes you have to do that to find out where you need to be. You can't go on blind faith on something that somebody has told you. If you don't venture out, if they tell you don't go across the bridge because it's dangerous, you'll never cross it.
Right.
Just because people put their fears on you. I want to walk across the bridge because I want to know why I can't go over there. I need to know why.
Oh, so you just that curious?
I need to know why.
Why?
On the other side of the bridge might be great for me. Maybe not for you, because you got to remember the way our parents and our grandparents was raised. They were raised by fear.
Yes.
The kids today have so much of a better life, because we have more entrepreneurs today because they don't have fear. They wasn't raised with fear of being scared of this and being scared of that.
No, they don't, because there's more resources out there. But let me ask you, was there any point in your life that you was fearful or intimidated by anything? As,
No,
no, at all. Like even at just at one point in your life, at one phase in your life, at all. Even if it
never.
was a short period of time, like a temporary. Okay, okay. Yeah, so now let me go into more into your family life. So you have two adult children. Can you tell me more about them?
Oh yeah, my kids are doing great. You know, the way I raised them, you know, like I'm saying, you know, they were great kids. They grew up to be great adults. They're still great adults and they're still growing, you know. What I put into them is, you know, don't be afraid for nothing. The sky's the limit. You know, whatever you want to do. But just remember at the end of the day, you have to be able to take care of yourself as an adult.
Yes,
You have to make right decisions.
right.
And one thing I did was, you know, they both graduated college and stuff. And right now, I don't want to be a hypocrite, but I don't want to say that they needed to go to college to be successful.
I understand. I understand.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's
if
true.
I could do anything different and they were showing me that they had different avenues or something, I probably would have supported that more than them going to college.
Okay, so what do you mean by that? You know, so you're saying that they had different aspirations and like but they decided to focus their energy on something else. And
What I did was I should have made them more entrepreneurs than workers.
but did they want to be entrepreneurs?
It's not what they wanted to be. They only could be what you taught them to be.
Mm. But that's the thing, because a lot of times we teach our children, we try to pass down as much as we can, and maybe entrepreneurship wasn't something that you had as much knowledge of, maybe, or maybe you know that wasn't instilled in you. So
Maybe we didn't have, maybe what we wanted, we didn't have the whole education and we didn't do the work to teach them
we didn't.
that
Yeah,
they can be what they want to be.
yeah, we didn't. Yeah, that's true. So let me ask you, just going back, when you had children, were you a disciplinary? Was you the strong disciplinary, or who's the cool father?
No, I wasn't cool at all.
You really? You were strict?
I'm very strict.
Wow.
Um, I gave a lot of leeway, but yeah, I'm a disciplinarian. You know what I'm saying? If I tell you to do this and I tell you to do that, you know, life is about structure.
Yes.
If you don't teach structure, you have nothing.
True. True. So what are your children doing now? What are they past now? What they got going on?
They both work. They both have great jobs. You know what I'm saying? And they're on their own, doing what they do. You know, I live here by myself. They're both doing their own thing. They in their own places. You know, they don't bother me. They don't call home for money. You know, they send money
Did you always have a close relationship with both your children?
always.
Because that's very rare. That's why I was asking, as far as fathers. And I want to touch more on that, the man's role diminishing as years go by. Because I don't know how often you're on social media, but I've always keep myself privy to how the man's role in a nuclear family is diminishing in society, and how the man's role is always demasculating. So I wanted to get more of your views on it. You know, I want to get a few things as a
That's right.
man.
I'm ready.
Yes, because I know, like, I'm looking forward to what your response is, because as a black man, father, navigating through relationships, navigating through friendships, and the masculine role as you see it. Please give me your view on that.
So my view is men aren't men no more. Because there's nobody on earth should be able to tell you how to raise your children. And everybody needs to know their place.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of single mothers
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
who dictate to men how to treat their kids.
Yes.
Wrong.
Yeah,
Very wrong.
it is, and it's true because, and just I want to just let me I'm a, put a bookmark there because I just wanted to insert the fact that in family court it starts there in family court, and I worked within the still system of things. I used to be child protective services, so I've seen myself where a mother, they can have history of substance abuse and jail, and all they got to do is take a few parenting classes, and they are able to resume their role, their parental role, without any real accountability. When there's a man that's willing to step up and they make it so difficult for them, they don't have as many choices, and they use child support as a dictatorship as well, to where it's like, even though I understand the child support needs to be there, not just financially, child support is not limited to just finances, but it even comes to a place where, in order for a man to see their child, where's your child support? You don't have to pay. The man should have to pay to see their child or spend time with their child or have a presence in their child's life. So I just want to just insert that real quick before you moved on.
So that part there that's a dictation from the U.S. government.
It starts there. Mm-hmm.
They dictate that we will take care of the women.
Yes.
And after the men, instead of creating a bond between the man and woman. Hey, you have to work together. Y'all had this kid together. We're going to step out. Y'all deal with this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a dictatorship because, see, once the black father is out of the home is not a home no more. How can it be a home if there's not a mother and a father?
Right. And you know what?
Is divided by two people that share a common space with the child.
Mm-hmm.
So you're only getting raised by one person, so you don't know views of a man if you're being raised by a mother. A mother cannot be a man. She cannot raise a male or female. They miss out on the other half of what they're supposed to be getting. And that is what society is set up for. Society is set up for us to fail.
Right. But okay, not only society, and I do agree, society, but do you believe also that this ultra feminism play a part in that? Because I do.
Well, that's the thing of today. We've been having this problem before the feminism came in. This is something new this another layer of dividing and conquering.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
You see?
Right.
Women today are raising these boys, and I can only speak about boys.
Yes.
Because for women in their 30s or 40s, dating and having husbands that can't do anything, we didn't come from a day where a man wasn't able to fix a hole in the wall or hang a painting or paint his house. Mm-hmm. These guys don't know how to do that. Some of them don't even know what a hammer and a nail is. Mm-hmm. And it's sad because they don't. If you're with somebody in a relationship and you sleep with him every night, but he can't paint your house or fix a hole in your wall or fix something around the house, you're in the wrong relationship.
You're in the wrong relationship. Mm-hmm. But we still make these choices. For some reason, we still make these choices. And that's why I was saying it comes from, these type of insecure women, because we all are naturally insecure. We lead by emotion. And I think that's why I think that men need to take their roles back as the head of the household, head of the family. And I know I'm going to get kicked in the back of the head for saying that, but it's true. I think that we need to reclaim that role, because we lead by emotion and we make these decisions and we bring children into the world based on our decisions, because it falls on us. I mean, I'm just, like you mentioned before, it falls on us because we choose to see what we choose to lay with these, we lay with
these men. We're gonna call them men. That's what they are.
Lay with them, or lack thereof, I should say. And we have to understand, we have to hold ourselves accountable, but we as women, we're so quick to, when I say ultra feminist, we're so quick to claim independence, and we don't need a man. We don't need this. We don't need that. And it's just, to me, it's very unhealthy.
In my opinion, and I just want to say in my opinion, That's what's wrong with the world. We
Yeah.
have too many strong women
Hmm.
that can't raise children because they're too strong.
Yes, and I think also because they feel like we are, we were so accustomed to being looked at as the weaker sex. Because I know, just personal disclosure, that's how I've kind of took more of a stern approach with my son. But I knew that there has to be a male figure in his life as well. Because I mean, and we've had discussions about this too, as far as us engaging when it came to William as well. I mean, you remember. So, you kind of understood my dynamic, my position. And
Hmm.
so, but at the same time, I understood that it was important to have a positive male figure, because not all men are meant to be fathers. They're not capable of doing that. But as women, we need to understand the choices that we make, and and the part that we play. And I think that women, they feel like for some reason they're exempt from that. They're exempt from taking accountability.
So let me ask you this question.
Mhm.
You just said some men are not capable of being fathers. Why are they not capable of being fathers?
Because their fathers weren't capable, or it could be a generational thing. It could be a number of factors, because there was, and also some of them was raised by some single mothers, some single mothers that did not give them the tools that they needed, you know, to be.
Because women are only true to their emotions, and how they feel is how the world moves for them.
Hmm.
And when you alienate a man from his child because you're still not over the breakup or whatever he's done,
Bitter.
that still has nothing to do with the bond between him and his child.
Yes.
And when you take that, you destroy another half of the world.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
the child, another half of the world, because everybody has a place in the world. When you
Yes.
take that place, somebody has arisen to take that next spot.
Yeah. You know what I noticed too, Greston? Even when I going back to what I was talking about, the male role needing, need to reclaim their role. I look at just the little things, like the little things now, where how when you see couples that get married, what's the first name you see? Like when you see the couples' names, whose name is up first? Which sex is up
The
first?
man, the
Huh?
man, the man.
No, it's the woman's name is first. It's like, say, it's Bill and Tasha getting married. It's only
Mhm.
Tasha and Bill. The man's name is not on top.
Well, that's only
I'm just
because that's how they written that up. But we know in this civilization, in this world, how it's supposed to be. It's Mr.
right,
Gresten and Tasha Weeks.
right. But that's not old. That's hasn't been.
Mr. Gresten, Mr. and Mrs. Gresten Weeks.
Hmm. Hmm.
Her name has nowhere in it. She's not valued at that point. She's valued in my home, but in society, it's the man. But see, you have to just kill out the man and,
Hmm.
and get rid of him to
Yeah.
make him weak. He's
Yes.
he's not really weak. He's
No,
just docile at the
right.
time because
Right. His
he's
role being
a
diminished.
fighter. He can't win.
Yeah. It's his role being diminished. That's what I'm saying. It's gotten to the point where even when you need government assistance, the man can't be in the home. The man can't be there. There's always the woman. Even when I was working for the homeless population, and people was applying to stay in the shelter system, it was always the woman's first. Most of the times, usually single women, and then the man is secondary. And so when the man comes up first, I see it, even people. I'm just giving an example here. People on my job, my coworkers, they'd be like, "Oh, well, usually the woman's name is first, because woman is, because woman is viewed as head of the household in these government agencies. The woman is viewed as head of the household." And I'm like, no, it's the man. The man is the head of the
Ask yourself the question: why is she the head of the household?
We said, why should he be?
Why is she the head of the household?
But we know in the government, that's as far as the government agencies, as far as in general.
No, I'm just saying, why is the woman the head of the household? because there's no man attached to the home.
Right, and that's how they designed it, like you said about the government agencies and about that's how they designed it. Now it's gotten to the point where a lot of women don't even want, even when they do get married to a man, they don't want to even take their last name now. You know, so.
And it's a game that they played with us, because I'm show you something. I wish I could draw up a chart right now. No matter what women do in this life, they're always going to come back to a man.
Yeah, yeah.
You know why? What is the government? Ran by what?
Men.
Powerful men. So you pick your man out your house to listen to another man tell you what to do, but you're still listening to a man. You have to always result back to a man.
And what do we view God as?
A man.
And you know,
have you ever seen a woman build a house?
Not by herself.
Yes or no? Have you ever seen a woman build a house?
Personally, no.
Farming. You've seen women farm, but have you ever seen women plant crops?
Yes, garden. Yes, in the gardening aspect.
Garden. I said plant crops. Gardening is in your backyard. I'm talking about a farm. Have you ever seen a woman plant crops?
There happens, yes. There happens some. Mm-hmm.
Well, you seen some? Okay, I'll go with that. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to explain to you is that no matter where you at, you get rid of your black man to listen to another man.
Right.
When you go to work,
and that's
is your boss a man or a woman?
Currently,
yeah,
a woman.
Okay, so now if you had a man boss, you listen to him, right?
Yeah.
But you won't listen to that man in your house. You listen to the government tell you what to do, but you won't listen to that man in your house.
Wow.
So you're still listening to a man, but you just ruined your relationship. These people ruined your relationship that could have been greater. And once they separate us, they're no longer an entity, because entities are what's providing in a relationship. It makes us whole. Wow. Every man should be with a woman. Every woman should be with a man. Not listening to a man.
Wow. You better say that.
To be with a man, not listening to a man. Dictatorship is worse than anything, because they're dictating to you that you don't need this man.
Right. Right.
But guess what? They'll send another man in the house to fix something.
Go figure. But like I said, I know I'm going to get, there's going to be a bunch of women stoning me because I'm a black woman, my doggone self. And excuse me for understanding what the plight is. People, black women, we're not bashing black women. Let me just put that disclaimer out there. We're not bashing women at all. We're not.
We're trying to bring enlightenment and awareness.
Yes. That's all
your man to listen to another man.
And we just want you to stop making, some of our men our enemies. That's all we're trying to, we're just trying to encourage you to do that.
And a lot of women live with dysfunction, because when they meet a good man, they always talk about, where's a good man? Where's a good man? When you meet a good man, you don't know how to deal with him, because he's not dysfunctional. He's not going to argue with you or anything.
Right.
I'll talk to you when you're ready to talk. But right now, I'm not ready to with you.
Yes. Because, I think that cooler heads prevailing is the best way to communicate. When you communicate and do screaming, arguing, cursing each other out, it's not going to get anywhere. So I'm glad you said something, because like I said,
to listen to men that walk away in the middle of an argument because it's getting too hot and heated.
Yeah, they view me as simps.
And any man on this earth that's a man is not going to stand there and go toe to toe with you, because that's not what we do.
They shouldn't.
It's not that I'm above you. It's that I'm trying to get you to see where I'm coming from. And I'm trying to get you to listen to me. And I'm listening to you. But the way you're screaming, women are more prone to fighting a man that they're so-called in love with.
Yeah, they want to choose. They always want to choose violence. Most of them do. And it's unfortunate. They always want to choose violence.
And for him to live and see another day, he has to walk away. He can't put up with that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that just circling back to what you just said, I think that a lot of times we come across a lot of good men out there, but I don't know, for me personally, just kind of in my adult life, I've been in that space where I didn't feel I deserved better. I wasn't worthy. I didn't feel worthy of, so that's why I made certain decisions in my life, as a young adult, that I'm able to do something. It's all about self-reflection now, you know what I mean? Because, we don't think we're worthy, but we, a lot of us women, we tend to act out our insecurities in the worst toxic way possible. And that's the problem. That's the problem there. And so now, Gresten, let me ask you, just based off this conversation alone, just based on this piece, where do you think we should go from here? Like, where do you think the improvement starts? Where it could be more progressive towards more leveling up the man's role, like, and understanding that the woman doesn't mean that the woman is being devalued, but kind of leveling up the man's role more. Like, where do you think it starts? Like, how do you think your approach should be?
Okay, so I've been saying this for the last 20 years. Everything on this earth starts with a woman.
Yeah, yeah.
Men come from where?
Women.
Women raise what?
Men. Boys to men. Boys to men.
Let's raise our boys to be men. Let's stop separating them from their fathers. Let's start dealing with men that's ready to be fathers instead of somebody that I'm into or I like, that fits my criteria, that's not going to be around for his son. When women stop making those mistakes, things will start getting better. And I know a lot of people are going to look at me and say, hey, that's not right, you're bashing women. I'm not bashing women. Everything starts with a woman. If a man dies, she's married, they had a good relationship, he dies, is she going to raise him the way she wants him to be raised? Right. Or is she going to live in the glory of her husband and raise him the way that he intended his son to be raised?
And the legacy is going to continue. Is it, we have to, that cycle is going to continue. Absolutely.
Women say they want a man like their father. Here's the cliche. Half of y'all don't know your fathers.
Yes. Oh man. Woo. Oh yeah, Gresten, you gonna get it. Oh, you gonna get it good. You gonna get it, Gresten.
I'm gonna turn away. I think we're gonna have to come back to this. We're gonna have to come back to this another time.
Woo, you're gonna get it now. Oh man. Oh yeah, you gonna get it.
When your dad and having a relationship with your father is two different things. Knowing who your dad is and spending time with your dad is two different things.
Oh, it's totally different. Totally different. Yeah.
Bringing you something on your birthday, or your dad coming to get you for the summer. Two different things.
Yes.
Two different things. And there's a lot of different variations of why this is happening.
Okay, give me those.
There's a lot. So, some men don't want to deal with the women that they had children with, because it's always a rough time when I come to get my child. I always have to go through this and that. Some of these women have children by men that already have children, and he ain't doing nothing for them. So why would you put yourself in the line of fire?
Oh, please tell. What is that, Gresten? Hold on, wait a minute. I just understand what kind of backwards thing is that. Just, like, you see how he's giving you, what did Maya Angelou say? He's telling you who he is. He's already telling you who he is. He's showing you. And you want to build a family with this dude, knowing how he is with, Like you want to, but you want to build a family. You want to have children with this person. What?
Let me ask you right there what you just said. How you gonna build a family with somebody that already got a family?
And don't even, but also they're just neglecting their family. They're neglecting their family. But I mean, I don't know why, Gresten. I also think that for some reason we women feel like we have these superpowers to change these men. You know, what are you looking at? What do you keep looking at?
The superpowers are not.
They always feel like, oh, we could, he's going to change. He's going to see the woman that I am and how good I am and how solid I am. And I'm going to do all this and treat him right and all this other stuff. And he's going to fall in line. He's going to fall in line eventually. It don't happen. It don't happen. Because you're going to need this.
And what I see is women just pick bad men because, you know, he fits their bill. You know, he's light skinned, he's tall, he's short, dark skinned, he got dreads, he got waves. You're in love with a shell.
But also going off what you said just now, also it goes back to insecurities, because I think a lot of times a lot of women choose these type of men because they want to feel wanted. I think they want to feel needed more. You know, they feel like it's to me, I mean, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's like it's more of a challenge to receive someone that's more of a stand-up person, more of a stand-up man. They want someone they could they could like someone that's going to need them. You know, more secure in that way. Yeah.
They don't like somebody that needs them. See, they don't like men that don't need them.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right. They like somebody that they like somebody that, hey babe, could I borrow the car for a minute? Why you always borrowing my fucking car? You need to get your own, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. A real man ain't gonna ask you to borrow your fucking car. Hey babe, I'll be back. Boop boop.
Yes.
I'm out.
Yes.
I got you straight, I got me straight, the kids are straight. But that's an easy life.
Yes, yes.
I don't want an easy life. Because see, if you got a man that's a man, not saying there's not going to be arguments. There'll be this, you know, communication. But a man that doesn't need you is the most feared man on the planet.
Why is that? Like, yeah.
Because I don't need you. And it hurts you to your heart as a woman that he don't fucking see me. He don't value me. He don't need me.
Is it in a form of intimidation? They feel like at any time.
It has nothing to do with intimidation.
You don't think so?
It's the fact that I can't control him. He doesn't need me in his life.
Man, let me where my fan? Where I got? Oh, Lord Jesus! Oh yeah,
He doesn't need me. A man that can walk away from a woman is the most dangerous man on the planet.
Yeah.
If he doesn't need her.
Doesn't need her.
You know how many hers there is out here that will do more for that man than you ever did? And then when you stand there, oh, you got another bitch.
Yeah. Yes. Because she knows that he has options. She know that.
Because she know he was a good fucking man, but she couldn't keep him.
You know?
He's not the type of nigga that you could tell every other day to get out my house. Because he don't stay in your house.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Gresten, Gresten, I don't know, Gresten. I'm telling you, the words and opinions of my guests it's not necessarily the views and opinions of Fitness and Substance. So,
don't. It's the truth. I mean, 90 women, and let's come to the challenge. Let's see how this votes out. But it's the truth. Women like men they can control.
Yeah.
They don't like men they can't control. You know why? He's too headstrong. He's not going to allow you to control him. He's not going to try to control you.
Right. Because neither one of us should be tolerating, like trying somebody to get control. There's no competition. We're in a relationship. There's no competition.
Relationships are not competitions.
Yeah. What happened to building each other up? I mean, we tearing each other down. What happened to that? What happened to build each other up and
Well,
being supportive?
there's a lot of men out here that build women up. And
Oh.
when they find themselves, guess what? He's not the man for them.
They're not good enough at that time. So once they get to a certain space,
That's not good enough. I just don't like that nigga like that.
mm,
I'm
mm,
just gonna always be grateful for everything he's done for me. But you leave, you get built up, and then you go find another bum
person,
ass nigga.
because you no longer know.
That's in control. So
Yeah.
everything that you've learned, you resorted back to who you was.
Wow.
Because you still in the business of trying to control a man.
Mm. So you think that with what you just said, do you think that some men and women carries that over to the next person? Sometimes when they
They
find,
do.
yeah, even when they find someone that is worthy of them, they'll pass that on. They'll.
You could only find somebody worthy of you when you're pure.
Yes, you have to. That's why I say you got to work through. You have to process whatever pain you went through in that past relationship. You got
You
to.
have to deal with what you went through. I'm not talking about for 3 months and then go get you a new nigga.
They don't. But that's the problem right there. That's the problem right there. They don't allow themselves to process the pain and heal from it. They just go right into jump from one thing to another without
So
processing.
think about it this way. If a man walked out on you, you ain't care about him anyway, right? So
Mhm.
what are you processing?
Mm, mm.
He walked out on you because he couldn't deal with the nonsense that you was going through. He didn't want to be a part of that.
Because you know what the expectation was for him to make
He
it.
tried, uh-huh. He tried to be a good guy to you, but you're so into confrontational relationships.
Yes, yes,
A pure relationship, you don't know what that is. That's foreign.
yes, yes.
You know what you hear? He don't ever want to do nothing. He's boring.
Hmm.
No, he working, he tired, he taking care of the home that you live in. Not the apartment, the home you live in.
Hmm.
He don't want to go to the club.
Right. Sometimes you want to Netflix and chill.
He don't want to be around all your girlfriends and they boy. He don't even like them. They don't have jobs. They don't relate.
Yeah, he just wants time with you. Yeah.
Mischief. There's a lot of words for these things.
He said they don't even like you. They don't even like them. Yeah, but this just like wow. That I mean, but I think also they don't expect for that man to leave that situation. They feel like they're gonna continue to tolerate me because they can't. They nobody else for them. They're not gonna find nobody else better. They have this mentality as
And
well.
when they leave, they always find something better.
Yeah, they always find something better. That's the problem right there. That's what makes them a threat. That's what makes that man a threat to them, to those type of individuals. So yeah, so I'm so glad we had this conversation, boy, because I was just like, I thought it was just me.
No, no, we talk about this all the time, me and you, but it's just, you know, a lot of women, they might have had their father around,
Hmm.
but they only know dysfunction.
Right.
I go see my dad on the weekend and my mother boyfriend is here, but they always arguing. And then when my dad come around, my mother always got something slick to say to my father.
Mm.
So you learn dysfunction growing up.
Right.
So what are you going to set out to do? Have a dysfunctional relationship because this is what you know. This is what you're used to.
Right. And how do you break the cycle though? Like, how does that cycle? How's that cycle broken? How do you break that cycle?
You know what? It's a hard cycle to break, and I don't have the answer, and I'm not going to.
Right.
I do
Right.
because women leave great relationships to be in dysfunction. They leave dysfunction and get in a great relationship and go back to dysfunction
Yes.
because it's what they're used to. It's embedded. It's embedded.
Mm.
So what's normal to you, you normalize.
Mm.
What's foreign to you, you get rid of.
Wow.
I don't know that stuff, but I
Wow.
know what I'm getting over here.
Wow. Wow.
Dysfunctional relationships is a thing that really exists.
And that is unfortunately very accurate. Yes, sad but true. Sad but very true. So let's go back. So just on kind of wrap this up. Just based off of what we the dialogue that we just had, this wonderful conversation we had. You as a man, where are you in all this as far as your dating life? Your whether you're in a relationship or not. What is where are you with in your personal life, if you want to share that?
I'm emotionally unattached
Mm. Emotionally unattached. Okay, that's an interesting way of putting it.
because until I find, or I'm not even looking, but if something presents itself,
Right.
I'll look into it. But if
Right.
you give me what I've already seen, you keep going with that.
Yeah. So, ladies, those ladies that are solid women. He's single. He's handsome. You know, got a home. He got a lot going on for him. He's one of those high value men. So keep that in mind. Women, keep that in mind. So, if you want to have a chance of, getting to know my cousin Betty, he's going to be back on this platform again. Just let me know. I have to screen you first because I ain't going to just allow anybody. You have to go through me. You ain't going to just allow anybody to come near my cousin.
There's a lot of us.
Yes, exactly. I'll just let you know if you want that opportunity, we gotta go through some people. We gotta go through some people. There's some, yep. So just let you know. But I also want Gresten, when you gonna get that life coach certification?
Um, my life coaching style is like a ministry. It doesn't have to be in a building. It doesn't have to be certified.
Oh, mhm.
I do my work in the streets with the people.
Yes,
No charge. You need help. You want to talk. I'm here.
and you are here. And I also not that you say that, Gresten. I want to also tell you in public, um, to your face, thank you. Personally, you've been there for me throughout the years. I've always been like the black sheep, the outsider. I've always been not so polished. I mean, you've been with me. I mean, you've been knowing me almost all my life. I mean, and you've always been there for me. You never judged me. You never given me any smoke like that, even though you let me know, you told me like it is what I needed to. You do hold me accountable. You do. um I do see you as my mentor. I'm not just saying that loosely. You have been a staple in my life, and I really appreciate that. I value that. I've always valued our relationship. um and I always value the role that you play in my son's life as well. Because there was a time in my life where I had a rough patch, and you were there, even when you were in a space that you weren't able to be. You still extended yourself anyway, and I truly thank you for that. I thank God for you. You're a person that would always remain, a stickler in my life, and I really, it's an honor. It's truly an honor for you to share this with me. I know, like I said, with your schedule and being a little tired, and you still was willing to do this for me. It means a lot, and I wouldn't want because you were like one of my top tier choices to start this platform with. Okay, so this was not just entered into lightly for me. So
Mm.
I just wanted to let you know that because I love you so much, and just thank you so much for being you, being who you are, and being a part of my life the way you have been and where you continue to be. So thank you.
I love you too, baby. I'm always here.
Yeah, I know. But any final words, Wes?
Let's just get better. Let's reach the masses. Let's get our people on the right road. Let's live better. Let's live together. Let's be about each other. Let's not look at what we could get from each other. Let's raise each other. Let's build each other. Let's build. Let's just build.
Let's build. Amen. So On that note, I thank you so much, Gresten, for coming through and doing this first live interview / conversation with me. Again, it means a lot. So have a good one.
You're welcome, cuz. I talk to you tomorrow, baby. I got to go to bed soon.
All right, bye-bye. I'm going to, do my little outro.
I'm gonna stick around.
Okay, all right, fair enough. All right, y'all. That was my cousin, Gresten Weeks. I mean, I really want you to let me know what you think about our discussion. Please comment, like, subscribe, share if you care. You should care, God damn it. Sure. But yes, please support, subscribe. And so that way you don't have to rely on me to text you or send a link. You should just subscribe so you can get the notifications of when my next video is going to come up or next time I do a live stream like this one. So I really want to thank you. If you're going to be on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in. And I, wish you abundant blessings